Let us start by returning to our text where we left off.
The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show to his bondservants the things which must soon take place. And he sent and communicated it by his angel to his bondservant John.
In the last episode, I spoke at length about who and what a bondservant is. As we examine the text today, we see that the Apostle John is referred to as a bondservant of Christ. So let us quickly look at some background regarding John.
So, who exactly is John? As I mentioned before, John is one of the 12 apostles. In the book of Matthew, chapter 4, he is identified as the son of Zebedee and the brother of James, the apostle. Before becoming an apostle of Jesus, John was a Galilean fisherman by trade. John was one of the 3 closest disciples of Jesus. He was included, along with Peter and James, to be a key witness to many pivotal moments recorded in Scripture. And he is known as the disciple whom Jesus loved, a close companion to Jesus. It was John whom Jesus entrusted the care of his mother Mary after his crucifixion. Historians think he was born around 6 AD and lived to approximately 100 AD. And he was the only one out of the 12 disciples to die a natural death. All the others were martyred. John is traditionally held to be the author of the Gospel of John. He's thought to have authored 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John, and lastly, this book, the book of Revelation.
The summation of verse 1 is this: God reveals to his son Jesus his plans for the future, and Jesus sends a divine messenger, an angel, to communicate it to John so that John can write it down and share it with all the other servants that make up the true church. So, what is it that the angel communicated? Here in this introduction, we're only given a generic statement that it is the things that must soon take place. The key words are must and soon. The next 22 chapters will give us the details of these things that are certain to take place in their entirety as John describes.
And that is what verse 2 implies. John is the witness who documents the visions given to him. He testifies to what he has shown. Future events are written by him before they ever happen in history.
Blessed is he who reads and those who hear the words of the prophecy, and heed the things which are written in it, for the time is near.
So God did not have John write this book down for it to be ignored, and yet it often goes unread. This verse is one of the few verses in Scripture that offers us a conditional promise of blessing for those who read and heed the things of this book. So why? I believe at the very least, it's because it will change your viewpoint of this world. When you take a road trip and have a map, you know your destination. You're not surprised where you end up. But if you don't have a map, it's easy to get lost and possibly never get to the destination you had intended. So while this world is on a collision course with destruction, you will live with a very clear vision, knowing that God is in control. Even when it looks like things are out of control, at the very least, that is a blessing of peace. We are being told here that we need to heed the things that are written in this book because the time is near. Now, our English translations don't always give us the best understanding. Sometimes it's necessary to go back to the original Greek in order to have the full understanding. And in this case, the Greek language, there are 2 words that represent the concept of time. We have chronos, which is a linear quantitative sequence of moments. That would be a specific hour or a date, for example. And then there's kairos, which refers to the nonlinear qualitative version of time. It's a season or an appointed time. So the word here is speaking of the time God will use for his purposes, a critical moment in God's plan and history. And so that would be Kairos. You will often hear this referred to as the end times or the tribulation time. There's not a date or an hour specified. It's a season. Once again, the original Greek gives us a different understanding for the word near. In Greek, the word for near is engos. It's an adverb, and it's indicating to be ready. It suggests that the time, which we now have studied and understand is a season and not a date, is imminent and that it will come to pass. It suggests that believers should be alert and prepared, and it's emphasizing the immediacy of God's unfolding plans. Now, commentators will often describe this process like a pregnant woman. The woman doesn't know the day or the hour. She can only know that once the birthing pangs start, they will increase quickly until the birth event happens. And the same is true for end times. So it's warning us to be ready and not to be caught off guard.
Look at what Matthew 24:5-8 says. For many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and will mislead many. You will be hearing of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not frightened, for those things must take place, but that is not yet the end. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and in various places there will be famines and earthquakes. But all these things are merely the beginning of birth pangs.
The book of Peter also gives us insight into symptoms of birthing pain. In 2 Peter chapter 3, we are reminded to remember what we have been told in Scripture, even if it seems as though the predictions regarding the end and the return of Christ seem slow in coming. Listen to the warning.
Know this first of all, that in the last days mockers will come with their mocking, following after their own lusts, and saying, Where is the promise of his coming? For ever since the fathers fell asleep, all continues just as it was from the beginning of creation.
If you read 2 Peter in its entirety, it advises us not to get caught up in culture and carried away by the ungodly, but to keep our eyes on Christ, learning his ways and trusting his promises. Yes, it is true, as some say, that there have always been wars and natural disasters. There have always been false prophets and persecution of Christians. The question is, are these things converging and increasing in intensity? Are they happening more frequently and simultaneously? If we want to be ready, we should be paying attention to the season we are in. How far into the labor process are we? This will become clearer as we study the chapters moving forward.
As a quick summary, first, we have been told the visions are from Jesus. Second, you will be blessed if you read and heed the things in this book. Third, we will know the season we are in if we are watching and paying attention to the labor pains.